see if that worked. It says I'm live. Okay. All right. So, let's see if people start getting here. Let's see. So if you guys can show up over here. All right, let's see. Anybody here yet? Okay, so let's do that. And okay, so we're going to do the story stream, and what I would like to do is just there's two people here, but if anybody else comes in, if anybody wants, the choices are. Let's see. We're going to start a poll. I don't know if I can do that. Okay. Genre. Or put it that way. So I got to poll up as to which version. Now, I'm not going to go from anything. I'm just going to tell a story off the cuff. See what you guys want to do. See if any more People want to get in. Sending it out on Twitter. Everybody will see it this way. Okay. There we go. So I've got all that done. Hey, small time, how you doing? Appreciate you showing up, you guys. I know Sporking was on the other stream that didn't connect, so we'll wait a little bit on him. And Giggles Bits was here as well. Giggles and Bits, and so right now we've got 50% sci-fi. So I'm also going to start another channel because it's easier for me to do live streams on that I'm probably going to do these on or move these to after or something like that. Hopefully I can get my green screen working correctly and this fade in and out thing will stop. But it's hard to talk to nobody. I really need to have a co-host for this, kind of a moderator, so to speak. Hoping to hear from a few different people that you guys know that'll be able to do that. Did everybody hear me okay? Oh, I have to go off camera to do this. I'm here. Bear with me. It's not like they're going to demonetize me for smoking on channel, are they? Well, so let's start out with what I've been doing. So, as you may or may not have known, I've been in the IT industry for the last 30 years. I was laid off about a month ago. The day I got laid off, I got another job, but I just went to work for my father's business, which is manual labor. He manufactures septic systems. Basically, the new versions are all what you might call personal wastewater treatment plants. So all your stuff goes into these tanks in the system, and it's automated and comes out a sprinkler, and the other end waters your yard. So that's why he builds, and I pour concrete, cut metal, doing all that stuff. So I'm not in IT anymore. So what that does is I work during the day. I get up at 4 a.m. I get off at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. By the time I get home, I'm beat. So it's hard for me to sit and write and do a story every week. So I'm hoping to do one of these live streams every week now that I'm kind of getting used to that work schedule. And, I'm almost 50 years old, and I'm subjecting my body back to the I don't know, manual labor gods, the physical labor gods. So it's getting me in shape there, at least. Hasbo Jangles, good to see you. So let's see where we at on the poll. We got fantasy leading at 67%. So if you would, y'all hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it, and share this out. So we'll give it a few more minutes. We've got 2 or 3 people watching that now, and we'll get started with that. So the future of the channel is looking good. I've been spending most of my free time that I have right now. We're building a chicken coop. I put a garden in, and I've been working on my novel. I've got cover artist working on the book cover. I'm working out printed models, 3D printed models of one of the main characters. I'm working on a journal that will be like the journal that a character finds in the story. So the book's done. I'm waiting on the edit to come back and all that good stuff. So as soon as that's all done, we'll be launching it on Indiegogo. It looks like right now, unfortunately, the way everything is looking with the printing and everything, it's going to be a $20,000 goal, which is a lot thinking about it to me. But that's just for 100 hardback copies, 100 softback copies, and then all the files and everything I'll need to do the Kindle version. So hoping, I mean, it's a fantasy novel. It's a very large novel. It's, depending on what the edit looks like, it's going to be about 150,000 words or so. So that's what we're going to do. So let's take a look. We got a few more people in. Hey, Memes, always great to see you, brother. So it's fantasy. That's what we're going to go with. So we'll go with fantasy. Let's see if I can fix something here. Fantasy. Yeah, that looks fantasy, doesn't it? All right, so we'll do a little fantasy thing. Let me think about this. So just talking about my book, which is in high fantasy, let's tell a side character story. Let's see. I haven't really thought about this, but I'm going to bring up my Word because I'm going to tell this off the cuff, but I want to keep track of a few things like character names and things like that. So let's go with Donovan. And he is a minstrel. And Donovan is later on after this story. This will be when he's younger. He's a bardic type character, right? So he's going to eventually fall in love with one of our characters in the main story and get spurned. But that being the case, I got a character name and I know that he was a bard. I never wrote any background for this character, so this will actually be pretty good exercise. So Donovan, when we meet him in my novel, is older. He's in his late 40s. He is aged, but he's in love with this who appears to be a much younger woman than him, but because she's half elven, she's much older and about his age. And he cares a great deal about her, but has never done anything with her or to her or anything like that. It's just one of those unrequited things, right? But let's tell a story about how he became a traveling bard. Let's do this. So Donovan sat. I'll do this better when I do it this way. Share the screen here. There we go. All right, there we go. Let's do it this way. How about that? That looks a little better. Okay. Let's do it this way. All right, I'm going to go. Here we go. Donovan sat watching the juggler struggle through another performance. He sneered at the man. But that's all he could hope for in a small town tavern. When you think about it, he could do better with an eye closed. Juggling was about feel. Juggling's about feel, not about anything else. So he drank and he watched. It's a lot more difficult than I thought. Okay. So Donovan's sitting in the tavern and he watches another young man perform. And the young man keeps dropping his juggling tools. The whole purpose, Donovan thought, was to entertain everybody, correct? So he drank and he watched and he was not entertained. But being a young man, freshly set off on the road, he grabbed his harp and waited for them to boo the juggler off the stage. And they did so. Donovan walked out toward the stage or stumbled toward it, carrying his harp. He stroked it lovingly, for it was a gift from his mother. And he knew that even though they'd thrown him out of the house, being the youngest son of 6 children, he'd find his way through the harp given to him through love. He climbed the stage and he strummed a few chords and sat back through the 3 or 4 fellows that were still sitting there drinking and the 4 or 5 fellows that were already passed out on the floor. And he sang a song of loss and heartache and hopeful rebirth. Went something like this. Walk over. I've always known. Alone. Wandering to where I know not. I walk the road I've seen before. The way that led to rot. Here I go again, down a path, twisty and vile, alone toward what I know not. A life I don't wish to revile. Perhaps one day we will meet again, and my journey won't lead me so far that I can hold someone who is with me and not for just a night. Keyboard's acting up. Alone. Okay, well, that's off the top of my head and it's not very good, but you see what I mean. All right. So he sings this song. Nobody's clapping, but nobody's throwing off the stage. So he gets up and he bows, and he decides maybe he could do such a thing for a living. But before he could get to his table, a young lady waves for him to join her at her table. She's not tall, but not short, about of height with him, with long, curly red hair. But she's as a child, not more than one of the young barmaids sitting around, watching for those who would still order a little wine or a little more beer. I'd like to talk to you, she says to him. Yeah? About what? I'm a bard, and I need a good singer, a good player, to accompany me. And what's your name? He asks. I'm Belladonna, the fair. He leaned back. He'd heard of her. She could draw men to the lowest tavern, and they spent their money freely while she sang and shake her bits about. What's in it for me? He asked. She smiled. Why? 30%. 30%? Well, they're not going to come to see you. True, he thought. But 30% seemed a little low. What about 40%? She sighed. Men. 35%. That's it. Okay, he said. And shook her hand, feeling that maybe things would go better. Well, let's see how good we can be together, she says, and started toward the stage. He followed her, not really understanding what she'd want to do. I'm going to start a song, she says to him, and you pick up the music for it. And so she shed her cloak, and beneath she wore a scanty outfit, her bosom pressed up almost to her chin, and her belly showing low to the midriff. The short skirt waved in the air as breeze come through the doors. And so she began to sing, her voice high and mellow, teasing and caressing as she sang. I am here. I have come to sing thee to the dark of night. We are here to give off our life. I don't know. This is poetry writing on the fly is pretty tough. I don't know why I chose to do a bar story. Anyway, and she begins to shake and call out to the men who are still awake and drinking. Are you here for me? To win my heart. Are you here to tease and break my heart? Who here be brave to stand toe to toe with my fire and my woe? Come in if you can tame what I be, and I'll follow you to your chambers willingly. Now Donovan, eyes wide, picked up the music and started singing. He couldn't understand the power that she had, the magic that played through her voice. And even as he watched, the doors opened again and again, and more filed into the low tavern and began ordering ale at the late hour. Before he knew it, the whole place was full of folks, mostly men. But then they started grabbing Belladonna, the songstress, and she looked back over her shoulder at him. What the hell am I supposed to do? He thought. I'm just a young man. I'm supposed to be your protection? She winked at him and pointed toward the men in front of her. You boys think you're big enough? She called. Yeah, one calls from the back. A large brute. His face looked like he'd been hit with a shovel. And so he walked up on stage, and Belladonna winked at Donovan and said, He's all yours, and laughed, a bright and cheerful laugh, as she bounced off the stage. Donovan, standing there with his harp, not knowing what else to do, stepped in front of the big man as he went to follow the songstress. But then, all things being equal, he went ahead and pushed the man. Hey, she's just entertaining you, brother. Go sit down. Enjoy the music. I don't think I like you, the man said, and went to push. And there you go. He thought, I'm going to die before we can even make any money. The guy reached back to hit Donovan square in the face. Donovan, out of reflex alone, held up his harp. The man hit the edge of the harp, and Donovan heard things crack and break. He jerked his harp back and looked at it, but not even a scratch, while the big man held his hand and cringed through the pain. Donovan pushed him off the stage and followed after his new mistress. Well, he thought, this path just got a bit twistier, I suppose. Well, I don't know. What do you guys think? Was that any good? I mean, I'm not sure how long have we been going here. How long have we been going? Only 30 minutes. I told a little short story, didn't I? Well, that's that. So what did you guys think? If anybody stayed around for that shit show. Wasn't really prepared for that. I should not have picked the Bard. It's the only thing I could think of right off the top of my head. Though it did give me an idea on, granted, this one's not so bad. That could be edited into something pretty good. You know, this one here. But you know, I mean, that's what it's going. Hopefully, I'll get this a little better off, you know, and understand what I'm doing. Perhaps I'll do a. We're going to do these. I don't know if I can get a co-host to help me out because that makes things a lot easier. It gives me somebody to play off of when we do this kind of thing. And if I can get a regular co-host for, say, a Wednesday night, or better yet, a Tuesday or a Thursday night, because Wednesday night I'd really like to go to church. But if we could get one, and it'd make it a lot easier, and we could get it going a lot better, right? So the idea is to be more interactive with the chat and do it like the old story stream. It's just hard to do so when it's a last minute thing. It really needs to be planned, and I just have not had the time. Every time I try to plan something, something else comes up. So if you guys didn't know already, I lost my job, though I got a job. It just pays a lot less, and it's working for my family, the family business. Granted, there's perks in that gets me around, but I lost all my tech stuff that I do. That's my Adobe suite. I had that paid for. My office was paid for. I can't afford. Well, I did it this month, but StreamYards is expensive. It gets to be expensive, especially if you're doing the monthly thing and you're doing it the $40 level. I joined Substack. I'm trying to get stuff written to be put out there, and then I lost my job. Unfortunately, my wife lost her job a month before I did, and she has not been able to find something within the same amount. And the way unemployment's working right now, they're behind about 6 weeks on her checks. So I don't know what to do about that. So I've got rent, or my mortgage is due, my truck payments due, my internet costs $100 a month, my this and that and this and that, and things get tough. And so I'm working as hard as I can. I'm doing as much as I can. I'd like to be able to do a lot more live streams. That seems a much better way to grow. Seems to be a much better way that folks should grow, that usually grow. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and start getting one story a week, hopefully over the weekend, out on Monday, and then do like a Thursday night at 7 or 8 p.m. Central Time story stream with a co-host. So you guys let me know what you guys think about that. So I know this was short. It was not the greatest thing in the world. Maybe, I don't know, that the poems I wrote for the songs, I guess, are okay. Doing them off the fly as I did. But, there's a complete story there that if I had the time to write it and, flesh it out, really give us a construction of where we're going, it would be great. So let's plan on Thursday night next week. I plan on having a story out. It's kind of a space sci-fi horror story out this weekend. I'll get that written or finished writing it, and get it edited and voiced and get it out. And then hopefully by Thursday things will be looking up and this will be going. So I'm going to end it here, I guess. And like I said, I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope to see you again soon.